Okay, hi, welcome to another Voss's Nice VNR. Today we are lucky to have with us Abie Rotenberg. So it was the year 1986, and a brand new children's album came out entitled The Marvelous Midos Machine, brought to you by the one and only Abie Rotenberg.
Well, I have to interrupt you.
Yes.
The first Midos Machine was a partnership. The concept, the idea was a joint effort between myself and Moshe Yess. The
legendary Moshe Yess.
The legendary Moshe Yess, after the first album, I took over the franchise. He went off to do other things. He moved away from Toronto, so we were not able to continue the collaboration. But I did the second and third albums more or less on my own. Rabbi Shmuel Klein, who was one of the main characters on the Midos Machine, Dr. Midos himself, a very talented mechanech and a very talented writer and thinker. He was a partner on the third Midos Machine with me. So, those albums came out, as you said, starting in 1986. The second album was 1987, and the third album was 1988. And I thought it was done. I thought it was over. I thought that was it. It was my the three-album trilogy, and that would be it. But over the years, additional ideas have come into my mind, and I have children, Kanai with children of their own, and when they came to visit, additional material came to the fore. So we started thinking about doing another album. And Baruch Hashem, I'm happy to say that Marvelous Midos Machine number 4 is here.
After a series of 3, people are very familiarized with the characters. Shnooky, Shlumpy, Dr. Middos, and Dizzy. So are there any changes to the characters and any progression that we're going to see? Or is the timeline going to continue from 3 to 4?
That's a very good question. The timeline will continue. The character is not going to age 20 plus years from number 3 to number 4. Shnooky is going to be 13 years old. He will have just celebrated his bar mitzvah. And we all sound just as young as we always did. No changes in the voices. We continue the story. Hopefully a young child today who will listen to 1, 2, and 3 and then go to 4 will find it seamless, will find it a progression of the story with the same characters continuing onward. But it is going to be dated. It's going to be from 20-something years ago. So kids today will learn a little bit about things in the past, some of the people and characters in the past, as well as some of the technologies that we have today that I think Dr. Middos might have had a hand in creating. And the parents certainly will remember those days. I meet kids today parents of children today who can recite sections of the album verbatim because they were so into it as children. And it's those parents, because if we're talking 20-something years ago, and they were, let's say, 5 or 10 years old at that time, 5 to 10, so they'd be 25 to 30 today. They're the parents of the children who hopefully will go out and buy this album in droves.
So who came up with the name Marvelous Midos Machine?
I don't remember. I really don't. We were working on it together. We know that, I remember that we said we're going to focus on Middos as opposed to on mitzvahs. Uncle Moshe was already around. He was already doing mitzvahs. He had a broader, so to speak, a broader landscape to work with because 613 mitzvahs and this and that. But we veered away from Middos a little bit. Sometimes any mitzvah that had related to Middos, we felt comfortable. We have to keep it Avayim, which is not a midah, but it's a midah-based mitzvah. We talk about Middos for children. Well, Middos aren't really for children. Middos are for everybody. Good Middos. Just like mitzvahs aren't just for kids, it's for everybody. But we try to do it in a way where we don't speak down to the kids, where the kids feel that they're respected. And subliminally, when the parents listen along, we hope they learn from that as well. It's very important that an album for children be entertaining for their parents as well, to some extent. Could you imagine, you take a trip with your kids in the car, and they say, play it again, play it again, play it again, and the parents are going out of their minds crazy because it's driving them nuts. Right. If they enjoy it as well, they don't mind playing it over for the children.
And they participate.
There's material for discussion. Look, I'm not unrealistic. I know that an album on Middos will not change people's Middos, children's Middos, adults' Middos. I'm not foolish enough to think that there's going to be a revolution of people changing their intrinsic nature. Rabbi Shmuel Klein writes, or he's quoted as saying, it's a lot easier to learn Shas than it is to change one Midah. So I realize that, but it still educates, and it gives parents a tool on how to educate their children better. And they can sing a song if a kid does something at home and use the song to point out rather than yell at their kid, or just say Middos alert, and that might be enough sometimes to help somebody do the right thing. So it's chinuch hamiddos, and that we're very proud of having had the opportunity to do that with these albums, and to continue to do that now with number 4. So some of the middos that we tackle on this album are patience. That's a real midah. That was one that we never discussed before. One of the middos we deal with on this album is called the midah of vatranus. Of giving up your spot, or being a mavat. Being mavat.
Let somebody else go before you.
Took a lot of thought into how to present that. I mean, it's not a halacha. You don't have to be mavater. If you get there first, you have a right to it. So how hard do you push? How hard do you push a child? How hard do you push an adult to be mavater? How important is it? You can't just say it's what has to be. It's not true. It's not the halacha. If you get to a seat first, you have a right to it. So how do you present it? You have to think. You want to present it in a way where it's a wonderful thing to do. Hashem's going to be happy if you do it. It's going to be, but not to chas v'shalom, say it in the wrong way. So even a children's song still needs to be accurate. It needs to be thought out well and presented in the right way. So
now I'm sure you have some new characters on the new album.
Do we have new characters? We have at the end of the album we introduce another brother in the Shapiro family and a sister, and then there are a whole bunch of other crazy characters because of the adventure. It's not just a story about, it's not just Middos, but there's an adventure and a plot and a story, and I can't give too much away because I'm not sure when this video is going to be seen, if it's going to be after the album's out or right before it comes out, but I want people to go out and discover the story for themselves. But it's a little bit of a crazy story.
So who's returning? Shnooky, which I think is voiced by you.
Shnooky is me. Dr. Middos, Shnooky, Shlumpy, Dizzy are all there.
Shlomi Goldreich is there too.
Sure, Shlomi's there. Moshe Blaustein is the voice of Shlumpy.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, sure.
Moshe Blaustein from Camp
Klein is the voice of Dr. Middos.
I believe as soon as you let the news slip out that a 4th one will be out, Mitzvah Shem for Hanukkah, I think people will go crazy and they'll for sure put it down. Hanukkah, latkes, donuts, Marvelous Midos Machine. Do you see there being a 5, 6, or 7, or were you just taking one at a time at this point?
It's a very, very interesting question. I'll tell you, if I wait another 20 years for the next one, that's Hashem,
Try to put one in each generation.
I wonder what Shnooky's going to sound like 20 years. That's Hashem, we should all be well. That's the main thing. I'm not going to rule it out. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, I know, looking forward to the album. I'm looking forward to the album. My kids, I said to them this morning, do you know who's going to be in my house today? Who's going to be in my house? Shnooky's coming to my house.
Shnooky's coming to your house. Oh boy, oh boy.
So, thank you very much for coming by.
It's a pleasure, Yossi. Thank you for having me.
Abie said that since we talked about the midah of patience is going to be on the album, and he wants to have good middos, he gave us a little preview to the song. So listen, you'll see the cover on the screen. You can hear a little preview, world exclusive right here, on the one and only VosIsNice.com.
Please don't tell me later, I've got to have it now. Ich weet doch so nicht später, ich dachte es hab ihn now. Please don't tell me soon, I need to have it now. Mom is burst like a balloon if I don't get it now.
Oh, you gotta have patience.
Have patience.
Yes, you gotta have patience.